Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 8115 North Ivanhoe Street here in Portland. Located inside the garage. I describe everything as if you are standing in the street facing the front of the house. So right here in the middle of the garage floor we have a 3-inch ABS cleanout, hides under a little brass cover plate. We're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water's running, we are zeroed out, and off we go. Hoping for no bellies on this. This configuration where the line comes out below grade like this is one that is a lot more, that configuration in general is much more prone to settling issues. Even when the main lateral is 20 feet deep, you've got way more room you need to grade the line. It is one of those that takes a lot more care to get it right. So far here, we're looking pretty darn good. I think there was a little bit of toilet paper in the line there a moment ago that may have been partially damming the pipe up. But if that's all the standing water we've got with this configuration, that's actually doing pretty darn good. I fully expect these to have some level of it. Now we're swapping over to 4-inch 3034 PVC pipe, and I noticed we did bump to 4-inch pipe just there before the transition to PVC. Whoever's been living here has done a pretty good job of keeping this thing clean. The flow line is dang near spotless. No grease buildup, that's the big thing. Alright, there's the main connection there at 61 feet. We're going to go locate the line here. I believe it runs just about dead straight. It jogs slightly. We'll go locate that just to verify we're out on Ivanhoe here and then let the line drain out. Alright, I located the camera head successfully. Line terminates on Ivanhoe. And where I picked that locate up and look back at the I'm just about looking straight back at the clean out. The line, as you face the home from the street, the line looks like it jogs just a little bit to the left of the clean out and then straightens out. And we have a tiny little bit of water still trickling off here. That'll be all drained off by the time we get back in. None of that is standing water though. Still a little tiny bit of water moving through the pipe there. And stop periodically just to make sure it's moving. If my camera hits any standing water at this point, you'll see it very obviously dive under. Alright, slight little slip at the joint there. It's extremely minor. You essentially have no offset. The slip at that is, and when I say slip, you can see the pipe ends are not butted up against each other all the way. That joint is completely sealed off there. That's so minor, it's not even going on my report. That is a visual blemish at best. Or at worst, I guess. Now this is a really good example of how to treat a sewer line right here. It's even homes that are 1 year old, I rarely see her this clean. This is a home that's doing a really good job of not putting any fats whatsoever down the kitchen sink drain. Again, we still have a little bit, I'm not sure where this water's coming from at this point. I've turned the water off a while ago. Alright, we finally, I thought we might have a little bit of standing water. So, we pop out of it here at about 13 feet. I think all said and done here, this thing's going to be drained out to dang near nothing. Yeah, you can hardly call this thing a belly, it's so small. And there is still a little bit of water still moving to the line even, which if you have a 1/16 of an inch of water, let's say, a water line that much going through the line, it's going to exaggerate the belly to that extent. What you have here is just teeny tiny. And about the only thing I would ever expect to hang up in water that minor is if a lot of grease and cooking oil is going down the sink. That kind of standing water there has almost no bearing. As you can see how clean the line is here on functionality. No, that's not even touching the bottom of my camera lens. You've got about a 1/16 of an inch. And so, just so you're aware, I've cambered over 25,000 sewer lines over the 15 years I've been doing this. This configuration here, what I would generally expect to see is about a 15-foot long belly, if not better, up till you hit the top of the driveway with an inch or two of standing water in it. That's what you're generally looking at. So whoever did the install on this actually did a pretty darn good job. Statistically speaking, what you generally see is much more significant than this. This is nothing I would ever recommend you do repairs on. It's way too minor. So in total here, it starts right around this turn at about 6 feet and extends out to about 13 feet, and you're holding about a 1/16 of an inch. I don't think it even hits a quarter. I'll write it up as a 1/4 inch on the report, between in that range, but that is a long ways off from repair worthy there. We still have a little bit trickle into the line there. I can't figure out if there's a toilet flapper, something maybe just be draining off. It could be a bathtub or something like that that hasn't fully drained off. You can see that water still moving through the line there. We're going to run backwards here for just a moment. All right, that's as far as we're going to go here. That's where the line necks down to a 2-inch sink drain going backwards. And then if I could go up that, right now my camera's kind of upside down, that other tie-in there, kind of off to the right, that will take you up the vertical stack, and I'll show you where that's at right now. I pull the camera out, kind of give you an idea where we just went. So we just went backwards. That pipe right there is had we been able to make that turn and not go to the 2-inch drain, we would go straight up that pipe right there. So very, very nice looking sewer line, especially for this type of configuration. Usually on these, I preempt the buyer right out of the gate that we're probably going to see bellies in the line. And what you have here is extraordinarily minor. This is about the hardest configuration to grade a sewer line properly in. I see bellies like that on properties with hillsides to go down. So if that gives you an idea, that was actually a very nicely installed line considering what you have here. And I hardly even want to talk about bellies like that, legitimize them as something to even call a belly. That's so small. And to give you an idea where I just start to recommend repairs, or at least consider it, is once there is at least an inch of standing water, that's with no water running at all, for a minimum of 5 feet. Even at that point, the only time I ever recommend a repair on something like that, a belly of that size, is when it's under a home or immediately outside of it. And to be honest, even at that point in a plastic line, it still has probably 75% or better to do with the homeowner if you ever get a blockage out of it. And by that, I mean abusing the sewer line with improper stuff. Wipes, paper towels, giant balls of toilet paper, grease, cooking oil, stuff like that. So a belly like you have here, especially with most everything coming down from a top floor, as you can see how clean the sewer line is there, that's a spot that would take a great deal of doing on the homeowner's part for that to ever contribute to a blockage. Anyway, all the piping to scope there is in good condition, intact, super clean. Line is functioning properly at this time.